Hey, welcome again to Batman Month. Now, before we begin, I got something for you guys. Warning: if you happen to see this masked winged vigilante anywhere in your sights, please call the Gotham PD immediately. Specifically, Commissioner Loeb, Officer Brandon, or Officer Arnold Flass?
Yes.
Officer Arnold Flass, not Jim Gordon. Just kidding. But yeah, I wanted to pull that little joke. So, today we're going to be talking about Batman adaptations. Now, with Batman having been around for 3/4 of a century, there's been a lot of adaptations over the years. And I'm saying that's probably a big understatement right there. I mean, there are probably adaptations that I'm not even aware of, and I don't think me and Steve, this is Steve, by the way.
Hi, guys.
I don't think that me and Steve could probably cover them all. We might briefly glance over some, and if there are some that we may not reference or forget, we apologize ahead of time. So, we're just going to go over stuff like movies, shows, video games. Is there anything else?
I believe there is, we already mentioned comics, video games, and movies. Animated and
I'm talking about adaptations.
Well, yes, adaptations, of course, too. Big thing. No, I think that pretty much covered it. We might come across it later or remember it, but I think you pretty much covered it all.
Okay. Well, all right. So let's start with movies. Now, there's been a lot of Batman movies, obviously.
Yeah,
And of course, with the new DC Cinematic Universe happening, Batman's going to be portrayed by Ben Affleck, and I don't really got much to say on that. It doesn't really do. Sometimes it doesn't do well to speculate. So
I have a little bit to say, if that's all right.
Okay.
I think, I personally think Ben Affleck's going to be an amazing Batman. From what we've seen from the leaked photo showing him off in his costume and the Batmobile. Personally, I really love the costume. I feel like it has a mixture of both the Dark Knight Returns and Batman Noel. I believe Kevin Smith, which you went to go met him in Baltimore Comic-Con, said that this is going to be a costume that we haven't seen before that truly represents Batman, and I think he was spot on with that. It really seems like this is amazing. The guys who did this costume did an amazing job. I look forward to seeing Ben Affleck be portrayed as Batman. Hopefully in San Diego Comic-Con we get to see a trailer or something more due to the Dawn of Justice movie.
Yeah.
And for people saying that Ben Affleck's going to be a bad Batman, I think people really should, see the bigger picture. They thought the same thing when Heath Ledger going to be Joker. Like, oh, well, he's never going to be anything like Jack Nicholson. And turned out he was by far the most amazing Joker we've ever seen in a movie adaptation.
May he rest in peace.
May he rest in peace. People said the same thing for Anne Hathaway playing Catwoman, and she did a fantastic job, I think. So
she couldn't have done any worse than Halle Berry. Speaking of Catwoman shirt by art by Alex Ross. I think this was from one of those Faces of Evil comics that happened a few years back.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with Villains Month or Forever Evil. This was before the New 52. But I love this is another favorite shirt of mine, and I love Alex Ross's art. I love how statuesque, picturesque his art is. I don't think I could say anything more about how awesome it is other than that. But and Steve here's wearing a mostly DC villain shirt. It's from the comic Justice. Don't forget to turn around, Steve. Yeah. There's a lot of Batman villains in there.
Yes.
Riddler, Scarecrow, Joker,
Bane.
Bane. I think Clayface might have been in that shirt too.
No, Clayface is not in here.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
It's just that there's so many of them, and
I believe Poison Ivy's here somewhere in the back.
But okay, so the only thing I'm going to say about Ben Affleck being Batman is just wait until the movie comes out.
Yes.
That's it. I don't think I can say anything more than that, and that's my 2 cents. So, okay, Batman movies. Don't know too much about the Batman film serials from the 40s. Other than that, well, I've seen some of the black and white ones. Just snippets, not too much of it.
Mm-hmm.
And the costumes were very simplistic. But then again, it was made during the 40s, so what else could you do? And yes, there was the Adam West movie.
I was gonna say.
Was that the pilot for the show, or is that something that happened during the show?
That was actually, I don't know where it takes place. It was not before the actual show. It was, I believe it was after, or it was somewhat during the middle of the show.
Yeah, it gave that feeling.
Yes.
So it just came out during like the show's first year, though, right?
I don't believe so. I'm not entirely familiar with the Adam West intention of Batman. I have seen some episodes. I've seen the movie. I don't know the time lapse of it, but I do strongly believe that the movie was placed during the end of the series or somewhere in the middle of it.
And well, all there's left to say is sometimes you just can't get rid of a bomb. Yeah, too bad you can't get rid of bombs like Batman Forever and Batman Robin. And nope, I'm not going to be doing any Bat credit card jokes. We're just going to be talking about the Batman adaptations we like and some other ones.
Speaking of the original Batman Adam West series, there's actually going to be the entire series out in November.
Yeah, Blu-ray or DVD?
Both.
Yeah. So, okay, now Tim Burton's 1989 Batman movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to say that it is, I like it. I really like it. And at first when I was a little kid, I wasn't sure how to take it, but over time I've grown to genuinely love it. And the thing about it is, it did, in a way, start the dark comic book movie.
You did actually, yeah.
Much like how the Superman, the 1978 Christopher Reeve, Richard Donner Superman movie started the superhero film genre, or made it more serious rather than camp, the Tim Burton's Batman started the dark comic book movie. And without it, we wouldn't have movies like The Crow, or Blade, or the X-Men movies, or even the Christopher Nolan Batman movies, for that matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. And and Michael Keaton, he was like, before Conroy, before Bale, he was like the Batman for a certain medium at the time. And some people, I don't know, some people might say he was sort of a one-note character, but I think it's a lot more to it than that. For one, he was a reclusive. He was the lonely billionaire who wanted to do good in the city, but didn't want to get anyone hurt that was close to him.
Yeah.
And you can see, and you don't have to hear him talk about his struggles. You can just see it right there that there's something up with him. And of course they show the flashbacks too, which explain things. Mm-hmm. The only pet peeve I have with the Tim Burton Batman movie is, and I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate on this when I say this.
Oh no.
The Joker. Now, before anyone tries to, Steve, don't get me wrong, I love Jack Nicholson as the Joker. At the time, he was perfect. No doubt about it. And sure, there were other actors before Jack Nicholson that were considered. Willem Dafoe, James Woods, and Tim Curry even.
Yes.
And yes, they would all look and sound and could act like the Joker. But what I'm getting at here is, the only pet peeve I have is actually technically two, but it's kind of one, is they gave the Joker an identity. I'm not saying that the Joker has no identity. No, when I say they gave him an identity in this movie, I mean they gave him a name. Jack Napier, and they made him the killer of Batman's parents. And there has been, I'm not the only one. I'm probably not the only one who's made criticisms about this.
Yes.
But see, giving the Joker an identity, and by that I mean a name, and him being Batman's parents' killer, one, it kind of takes away the mystery, a little bit of the mystery and edge to his character.
Well, go ahead. Continue.
I mean, the thing about the Joker is you don't know who he is. You don't know where he's coming from. You don't know why he does what he does. And in the Killing Joke, the Joker even says, if I were to have an origin story, I'd rather have it be multiple choice. And I know that, and I understand that Tim Burton was inspired by the Killing Joke for his version of the Joker. That makes sense and everything. And then making him the Batman's parents' killer, it's like, it gives Batman an excuse for revenge. And I'm probably repeating some stuff that people have already said before. But, and then, yeah, Batman, oh man, I'm thinking of another pet peeve. Forgive me, people. Batman killing the Joker. I mean, okay, I know that Batman's a dark hero. And maybe there have been comics where...
That was a different universe, though.
I know that's a different universe, but what I'm getting at is... And I understand, when you do an adaptation, you take liberties, and when you have supervillains in comic book movies, you can only do them for so long. Looking at you, Lex Luthor in the old Superman movies, with the exception of Kevin Spacey. But it's just that everything else about Jack Nicholson's Joker was perfect. It really was.
By far.
But even in things that are deemed perfect, there can be some flaws. It's like saying Star Wars Episode 4 was so awesome, but the more you watch it, the more problems you'll find with it, the more nitpicky you get about it. Like the Death Star having this porthole that could cause an explosion, or Han shot first, or Greedo shot first. Stuff like that. It's basically like that, in a way. Oh, and fun fact, and some of the factory sets, the Axis chemical sets, they were actually used from James Cameron's Aliens.
Really?
Yeah, you can actually... I mean, when I heard about that, and I looked at the Axis chemical sets again, I thought, whoa, you know what? They do kind of look like that.
Wow.
Huh. Anyway, you were going to say something?
I think you're right as far as Nicholson goes. Again, don't hit us. But, you know, during the time, we had a dark Joker, but he was nowhere near as dark and as mysterious, I suppose, as he is now. The Joker in the 1989, you said?
Yeah, the 1989 movie.
1989 Tim Burton movie. He was more of the comedy-like Joker. He was always a dark Joker. There's no doubt about that. But it was a Joker adaptation of combining, I suppose, the Adam West Batman Joker with a sort of killing joke Joker.
Yeah, I sometimes thought that Jack Nicholson's Joker was in a way like a darker version of Cesar Romero.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I mean, there was certainly some problem with the Joker, but you have to understand, during that time, it really was a strong adaptation of what a Joker should have been, as far as his comical side with his dark humor and dark nature.
Yeah.
You know, he had always little buzzers and gizmos and tricks. He had the bang gun, for crying out loud.
Don't forget the squirting flower.
Big squirting flower. Did it have Actic 2?
Did it have what?
Did it have the Actic 2? I forgot.
Yeah, the squirting flower had acid.
Okay.
Yeah, when he squirted at Kim Basinger, there was smoke coming out of the wall.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he's ever... Did he ever, like, squirt it on a person, actually?
He did.
When?
It's been a while since I've seen the movie, but I'm
Is it a deleted scene, maybe?
It might have been a deleted scene, but
I know he burned someone with a joy buzzer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let's not forget that. And, oh, poor Bob. Bob!
So, yeah.
You I'm my number one guy, and then I'm gonna shoot you.
I mean, I think Jack Nicholson did a fantastic job with the Joker. There's absolutely
he's
no doubt
definitely
about that.
one of the best actors, and this is definitely one of his greatest roles.
Absolutely.
No doubt about it.
You know, people continuously argue about who's the better Joker, Heath Ledger or Jack Nicholson. And we'll get to Heath Ledger Joker, I'm pretty sure later.
Don't forget Mark Hamill.
And Mark Hamill. I definitely want to get a Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
But you know, without a doubt, Jack Nicholson is by far one of my top 5 favorite adaptations of the Joker. You know, from including from comics to movies, even animation, he is by far one of my top 5.
Yeah. So, with Tim Burton's Batman being such a big hit and setting the stage for superhero movies, oh, here's another thing about Tim Burton's Batman, and this has been a common criticism / praise. I couldn't tell what era the movie was set in. Was it set in modern times? Was it set in old times?
It was modern times.
I mean, I understand it's a comic book movie, and when you try to create a universe that's sort of an exact replica like the comic, you gotta try to decide, do you want to set it in a modern world or in the past where it came from or something else? And I guess it kind of did a mix of both.
Yeah, they did a mix of both.
And this is a common thing with both of Tim Burton's Batman movies, and I think maybe even the Joel Schumacher ones too.
Never saw those, so I wouldn't know.
It seemed more like the movies had elaborate sets than being shot in an actual city.
It was modern times.
Yeah.
As far as like, you know, the 90s, whatever, that sort of thing. But if you're talking about like set in like actual, like New York City or whatever, no, it was definitely an adaptation of Gotham and all of that. But it was you know, modern time 90s like stuff. Yeah.
So with that being said, Batman Returns, and to be fair, this is like a Christopher Nolan Batman movie in a way. If that makes sense. It's like, how can you go darker than Joker?
Exactly.
Answer: Batman Returns. I mean, what they did with the Penguin was, wow. I mean, see, people, it's like, Penguin has been regarded as either one of the best or one of the worst Batman villains. Sometimes they overdo the bird motif too much with him.
Here we go.
Sometimes he's depicted as a gentleman of crime, and he may or may not be as smart as he appears to be. He may look fat, he may look short, he may look tall. Maybe part of the criticism is the inconsistencies. But I think that with Batman Returns, they at least managed to establish a consistency.
Yeah,
because ever since Batman Returns, Penguin has more or less maintained the mannerisms or appearance from Batman Returns.
Right.
But they also managed to incorporate the gentleman of crime in there.
Yeah, I think with Batman Returns, they mixed a lot of what people think the Penguin is. You know, based on being a gentleman, his history with his wealthy family and everything. His appearance, hence his name as a penguin, bird and stuff. They definitely, I think, did a fantastic job with it, mixing it up a bit, to where basically he's a very dark character, has the appearance of a penguin, and still has that sense of gentlemanness.
Yeah, and sometimes I know that Danny DeVito played the Penguin, but sometimes I forget that's Danny DeVito. It's like it's not just the makeup, but it's like his character, his acting itself.
Yeah.
It's like, whereas the Joker is one of Jack Nicholson's best and well-known roles, I think the same can be said for the Penguin with Danny DeVito.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, wow.
He did a fantastic job. Really did.
Now, Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman, that was something awesome.
It was.
And
that, to me, set a whole new tone for Catwoman.
Yeah, it did. I mean, I thought it was a bit extreme to make Catwoman a psychotic character. Because the thing about Catwoman is she's a character who's really trying to make life better for herself. Instead, in the movie, it seems more like she's trying to make life as chaotic and yet somewhat fun and sarcastic as possible. Well, not that that's a bad thing. I mean, I get that it's an origin story for Catwoman in this movie, but at the same time, it was a little off-putting. That's just me. So, Christopher Walken. I don't think I could do a Christopher Walken impression. I've tried, and I can't do a Christopher Walken impression. I don't know how other people do it. I just can't do a Christopher Walken impression. All I can say about Christopher Walken is that he was funny, he was enjoyable. It was a bit of a shame that they didn't have Two-Face like it was originally rumored or planned to. Right. And it would have been interesting to see Billy D. Williams as Two-Face. So then again, we got Tommy Lee Jones for that. And I'm not going to say much about the Joel Schumacher movies, but they had some promise. I mean, like Val Kilmer's Batman, but that's about it. That's all I'm going to say. So with the Joel Schumacher movies having happened, and the rest, as they say, is history. We got Christopher Nolan's Batman movies.
Oh yes.
And the thing of it is, when the live-action Batman movies, in a way, they kind of speak about the comics themselves that they're trying to adapt. Because see, Bob Kane and Bill Finger, they had their interpretation. They were the original creators of Batman. They had their vision of what Batman was going to be. And so each subsequent creative team, whether it's an alternate universe or main universe, they had their idea of what Batman should or could or would be like, and the artists had their vision of what Batman could, should, or would look like. The same can be said for the movies. Tim Burton had his vision, Joel Schumacher had his, Christopher Nolan has his, and that's about it. I like how they added the realism to the Batman movies with the Nolan movies. I like the themes about humanity, about fear, about corruption, escalation, everything. And probably not just one of my favorite Batman movies, or one of my favorite comic book movies, but one of my favorite movies of all time. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Those were his Legos on the Arkham Origins. The Dark Knight. This is one of my favorite movies of all time.
It both stays for us.
Yeah.
It's probably, by far, the greatest Batman live-action movie there is. By far.
I mean, sure, and even some of the most perfect movies can have their problems when you watch it too much, when you watch it a lot of times and you get nitpicky with it. And yeah, I sometimes get that with The Dark Knight too. But still, it's overall a really good movie.
It is.
I mean, probably, and we kind of already glanced at this before, but Heath Ledger's Joker was the breakout performance of the movie.
It was.
May he rest in peace.
Absolutely.
I mean, kind of makes, and see, I'm just going to say this, and probably some other people have said this before too, but if Heath Ledger had lived, would he still have gotten nominated or even won the Oscar?
I really think he would have.
Yeah.
I think he would have absolutely been in a sequel to The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah. So, and probably going to get some backlash on this too. I really hated Rachel Dawes. The only problem I'm going to focus on is what she said at Batman Begins, is that when Gotham no longer needs Batman, I'll see Bruce Wayne again. It's just, I mean, I understand you create original characters for comic book movies that aren't based on established characters from the comics. That's fine. But sometimes they gotta say or do things that make sense too in order to stand on their own. I mean, like Daryl Dixon from The Walking Dead. But Rachel Dawes, when she said that line, see, Gotham, whether you've whether you've read the comics, played the games, watched the movies, you know that Gotham City is one of the most dangerous places on Earth.
And yet everyone still lives there.
Yeah, I think it even trumped New York and Chicago for most violent city in America. Though then again, there is Hub City where the Question lives.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, Batman is definitely needed in Gotham.
Mm-hmm.
And even if he didn't have his support system,
yeah,
he's definitely needed. Something is needed in Gotham. And Batman's the answer to it.
Mm-hmm.
The Dark Knight Rises. Christopher Nolan did have his what would you say, doubts or fears about a third entry, but he wanted to end it on a satisfying note. And I can understand. Yeah, when you got comic book movies, sometimes they can be never-ending, and they start to get old and stale.
Mm-hmm. And
I guess he wanted to avoid that. He wanted to make something that ended on a high note, and it kind of did. I mean, I liked Tom Hardy's Bane. It was a lot much smarter than Batman and Robin's Bane.
Oh God.
Yeah. I mean, I understand.
Let's not get to that movie.
I understand you can't exactly do the whole Venom making gigantic steroid guy thing, but
see, I'm sorry, see, I thought what they were going to do with Bane in the movie was they were going to go for a Nightfall like Bane. That's what I was really hoping for.
Yeah, that's what one of the stories that they took inspiration from, Nightfall.
Yeah, I know, but I would have liked it.
Bane broke Batman's back.
It wasn't. I mean, yeah, but it wasn't just. The best part was he didn't just break Batman's body. He broke his spirit. He broke him financially, and I mean,
he did. He did. I mean, in Dark Knight Rises, yeah, Wayne Enterprises was almost going bankrupt. He got kicked off the board of directors, and Bruce Wayne was almost giving up about being Batman and saving Gotham City. And here's another thing: 8 years, and he didn't even bother to try to get his leg looked at. And as soon as trouble starts brewing in Gotham City, then he gets his leg looked at. Really? I mean, anyway, and yeah, the movie was long, but it is the final part of the trilogy, so you gotta do something to clear up as much stuff as possible.
Granted, it was nowhere near as good as Dark Knight. No, you can't. I don't think you can ever beat.
It would have been nice to have seen Two-Face return. It would have. Yeah. I mean, it would have been difficult to explain how has he been absent for 8 years, and what is he locked in solitary confinement? I mean, come on. Even if you're locked in solitary confinement, sooner or later someone's going to find out that you're still around.
I mean, even though he would physically not in the movie, he was in the movie.
Yeah, a flashback and a picture.
Yeah. You know, he was referenced a few times in the movie, so
and the Dent Act, of course, and about the Dark Knight. Yeah, I like the Dark Knight's interpretation of Two-Face.
Yes, absolutely.
And I think he was Two-Face for about maybe an hour and a half.
Hour and a half.
Yeah.
But he did a fantastic job playing Two-Face.
Yeah, and I think he tried to replicate that in I, Frankenstein in a way, but that was okay. And but yeah, Aaron Eckhart was perfect as Harvey Dent / Two-Face.
Right. And
Gary Oldman, great as Commissioner Gordon.
Absolutely.
Michael Caine. I mean, like, Michael Caine had some restraint as Alfred, but at the same time, he had such edge to it too.
Yeah.
He was like, some people called him like Batman's Batman.
Why is that? What do you mean?
Because of his military experience, his medical know-how, and able to sort of pick up the slack where Batman fails at.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, the Talia al Ghul thing in Dark Knight Rises was a bit rushed in, but it was kind of obvious from the get-go, in a way. So, alright, animated movies.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. We got some here. Superman, Batman, Public Enemies. That is technically a Batman movie. And Batman Under the Red Hood.
My all-time favorite Batman movie of all time.
And yeah, probably one of my favorite Batman animated adaptations, Batman Year One. I don't have a couple other adaptations like Mask of the Phantasm, but I love all the animation, how they tried to make them all distinct. Oh, and Gotham Knight, that was good. And it was amazing how they had that set in the Nolan universe.
Yeah, I mean, Gotham Knight was Gotham Knight to me was kind of I like some of the adaptations of what they had in there. Not all of them, because some are like really weird and like, why would you do this? But whatever, guys. The one I liked the most in Gotham Knight was definitely the Deadshot episode. That was great.
Yeah, they did do some questionable things with Deadshot, like he wasn't willing to die. He was begging for his life to be spared.
Mm-hmm.
But there was the whole he was obsessed with getting Batman because he was the one person he wasn't able to hit.
Yeah, I think basically he'd always been. He'd never able to get Batman.
Well, yeah, but he's sort of outgrown his status as a Batman villain and has become a force in his own right.
Yes.
I mean, you know, being in Suicide Squad and Secret
Squad
Six and everything. So, but yeah, Batman Year One, I was amazed by some of how exactly a shot for shot it was.
Yes.
I mean, it's like it's different than a motion comic in the sense that it's fluid. It's very. I mean, Year One, the comic already had cinematic tendencies.
Yes.
So, really, it was like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like say you're in a dream, and you dream that you're in a comic. And it's not so still or anything. Yeah. It's actually moving. It's kind of like that, if that makes sense.
I get what you're saying. I think the same thing can be said for Batman: Dark Knight Returns, my all-time favorite animated movie and comic, because like Year One, Frank Miller, what he basically did in the comic and somewhat in the adaptation of the movie was, he brought the media into the comic, the news, to basically feel like throughout the comic you're in a movie. Everything that goes on to the social media. I can see if I can find a good example without being too graphic here. Basically what he did was he drawed you in and like basically made you feel like you are literally in the comic. You really are watching this, seeing everything that's going on.
I was confused as to why Dark Knight Returns was turned into a 2-part movie.
I was too. There's a lot version that.
I mean, I understand it's a big story.
Yeah.
But even some of the other big stories that were adapted for DC animated movies were turned into single films.
Mm-hmm.
Superman Doomsday, just Batman Year One. Though, yeah, Batman Year One was short. That's the only pet peeve I have with that. It was short, but it was to the point, which kind of speaks about the comic itself, which I talked about the other day. So,
but I feel like Year One did do the exact same thing that Batman Dark Knight did. It drawed you in. It sort of had like a social media thing going on.
Yeah.
And it felt like the comic, in its own right, like this comic here in my hand, was a movie. You want to fully see it to continue and go on. You're continually drawn into it page from page, and it's just beautiful artwork, a beautiful story. And Year One was basically Batman before Batman had any of his villains. It was Batman fully was fighting the media, not media. I'm sorry, I keep saying media.
The mob.
Thank you.
The corrupt police department.
Department, and it was by far one of the greatest Batman comics ever made. It was fantastic. In fact, Batman Year One was originally supposed to be a live action movie, was it not?
Actually, first it was a comic, and then after Joel Schumacher's Batman Robin, Joel Schumacher and several other filmmakers were trying to do a Batman Year One adaptation, but that didn't materialize.
Right.
And eventually they did Batman Begins.
Yes.
So, I mean, Peter Weller was perfect as Batman.
Yes.
I heard that several Batman veterans were going to be involved with it. And I thought they were going to get Kevin Conroy to voice Batman.
I heard that.
Or something, or maybe some of the animated series actors. But maybe they just meant people behind the animations behind some of the Batman stuff before. Maybe, I don't know. But Peter Weller, he was perfect because he's already played superheroes before. I mean, Buckaroo Banzai, RoboCop. But that's young Peter Weller. This is, if young Peter Weller had played Batman, we'd have we'd have sort of a dark hero, but with a really dark sense of humor in a way.
I think he did. But he did a really good job. I think being a voice of Batman.
No, I'm talking about like his live action superhero roles
Well,
back in the day.
I know.
But him being old Batman in Dark Knight Returns, it was fitting because much like Batman, he's experienced, he's seen a lot, he's done a lot, and he has that dark, gravelly voice, perfect for this story, for this tone, for the character. And Michael Emerson is Joker. Oh man. Just hearing his voice when he says, Batman, darling, at the end of part 1, it's like, oh, that gives, I thought I was going to have nightmares.
I was acceptable about it. I mean, I think he does a fantastic job in the show Person of Interest, which people please watch that show. It's an amazing show. That's all about him being a Joker. It's like I don't know, I can't really see him be a Joker. And then I saw the movie and I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, he's right up there with Mark Hamill being the voice of Joker.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't seen too much of Michael Emerson's other stuff like Person of Interest. Mm-hmm. I've seen bits of his role in Lost.
Yeah.
He played Zepp in Saw.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. It's the rules. Okay, so that's all we can say about movies. Though I haven't seen Son of Batman.
You haven't? I actually have.
What'd you think of it?
The first time I saw it, I was kind of about it, and I was really expecting more. But then when I watched it again, I thought that it's really good. It's not really a Batman movie per se. I mean, yeah,
it's more of like they're trying to do this whole DC animated, and they're trying another DC animated universe in a way.
Mm-hmm.
It started with the Flashpoint paradox, continued with Justice League War, and now it's Son of Batman.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a Batman movie. I mean, Batman's in there, Batman universe. But it doesn't feel like a Batman movie. It's I know, it's all
like
about,
Batman's a small part of something bigger.
Yeah. I mean, I know it's supposed to be about Damian Wayne, it's supposed to be about his son, but it doesn't really have to be the whole entire main focus of this movie. And that's really what it all was. Not that the movie was bad. By all means, I loved the movie. I just wish it would have been longer, and it would have been, I wish it would have focused more on the different characters. Because, Batman's the father of Damian Wayne, and they had that, but they really didn't explore that as much as they should have.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't read the original comic of which the movie is based on, Batman's Son by Grant Morrison.
Right.
But I understand that there are people who have a divided view on Damian Wayne. Mm-hmm. They either hate him or they love him. I like him. I like the fact that Batman has a kid. I mean, yeah, Batman already has kids in a way.
Different universities, but yeah.
I mean, well, yeah, adopted kids. But the fact that he has a biological kid, mm-hmm. it shows a growth for his character. It's like it's like Peter Parker getting married. So thank you for one more day for getting rid of that. It's showing that these characters grow. Mm-hmm. That even though they're fictional, they're sort of beyond belief. They're in some way believable, mm-hmm. and the fact that
you're very drawn to them.
And it kind of, and see, this is sort of, it's sort of in a way kind of connected to the Dark Knight in the sense that Harvey Dent asks that question. Sooner or later, he's going to find someone to try to continue on his legacy.
Yep.
And there's Damian Wayne, but at the same time, just because there is a son of Batman doesn't mean he's going to continue the Batman legacy.
Right.
And we've seen that in some comics, like
yes.
The Damian Wayne that was introduced in Batman number 666. Oh, gee, how perfect.
There's also, I have here, Batman Black Mirror, where, Bruce Wayne, had been gone a while.
And Dick Grayson is Batman.
Yeah, Dick Grayson is Batman. There was a battle of the Crow where basically everyone fought for the Crow. Jason Todd, Red Hood, fought to become Batman. Of course, Dick Grayson fought to become Batman. I believe Damian Wayne did too. I don't think he was. I didn't really read the comic.
Wait, Battle for the Cow?
Yeah, Battle for the Cow.
Well, yeah, at the end of the story, Damian Wayne is revealed to be the new Robin, which sets the stage for Grant Morrison's Batman and Robin comic.
Mm-hmm. But, I like Dick Grayson being Batman. I really do.
Yeah. They kind of tried to model him off of the Christian Bale Batman away with the costume and the mannerisms, and he's a young Batman. And again, it shows the continuing growth of the character. And for those who are worried that you can't have a Batman without Bruce Wayne being Batman,
right?
Well,
you can't.
The answer: Batman Incorporated.
Absolutely.
Which showed that there can be several Batmen, and they can all have their own.
And for some reason, a cow.
And they can all have their own edge to them. And Dick Grayson had it. The Black Mirror pretty much solidified Dick Grayson as Batman. Mm-hmm. Yes, there had been Grant Morrison's Batman and Robin. Yes, there had been Dick Grayson in other comics as Batman. But it was really the Black Mirror that showed how Dick Grayson, with all of his experience, all of his know-how, everything, how he truly can be the Batman after Bruce Wayne. It's a shame they kind of didn't exactly continue that.
Yeah, it really is.
But not going to get into a New 52 rant, so...
No, but all I want to say is I really wish there was more Dick Grayson as Batman, because it really is a beautiful adaptation of him portraying his role as Batman.
It's not necessarily the first time, though.
No, it's not his first time.
Nightfall.
Yeah, it was Nightfall, but that was Azul, though.
Well, no, Azrael, and then Dick Grayson became Batman to confront Azrael.
Right.
And yeah, Dick Grayson won.
There's also some minor little miniseries comics of Dick Grayson portraying Batman. The Gates of Gotham is one of them. Check it out if you want, but definitely check this one out. I can't recommend it enough. It's a very wonderful book. One of my all-time favorite artists, Scott Snyder, did this. He does a fantastic job with the New 52 Batman series, which I won't get to that much because I know we don't want to get into New 52.
Yeah.
But yeah, the point being, is you don't need Bruce Wayne to be Batman. You don't need Damian Wayne. He has, like you said, his adoptive family. He has Jason Todd, which Red Hood. But he could if he didn't portray the way that he was, he could have definitely become Batman.
Yeah. But then you gotta wonder whether Bruce Wayne should still be Batman.
Yeah, you really have to wonder.
Like Batman under the Red Hood. It's like, okay, one of Batman's greatest failures, and I'm not saying this of him as a character. I'm talking about his actions or some. Yeah. His failure to save Jason. Yeah. Jason, now, the whole thing, from Jason Todd was sort of a questionable character when he was originally conceived, because at first he was made too similar to be Dick Grayson, but then they decided to alter him to be a street thug.
Yeah.
Who stole a tire off the Batmobile, which is funny. And then he becomes Robin, and he's much more much more edgier.
Right.
But people didn't like that about him, and then they did this whole. Yeah. They did this whole.
Like a little voting thing.
And some people say they might have fudged the numbers or something, so that they should just kill him anyway. But it was in a way. It was also a good thing. Mm-hmm. It shows that the superhero life is not so safe for younger people, and it for further character development for Batman. Tim Drake became Robin, and the rest, as they say, is history. Mm-hmm. And then Jason Todd coming back as Red Hood. Without getting too much into the New 52 stuff, I don't like how they're going with the Red Hood and the Outlaws series.
I don't either.
They try to make Jason Todd. They try to either make Jason Todd edgy or funny. They can't seem to make up their minds as to how Jason Todd is supposed to be in Red Hood and the Outlaws. But in Batman Under the Red Hood comic and movie,
Yeah.
it shows how Red Hood can be a perfect foil for Batman, as well as a character in his own right. He takes the identity of the Red Hood, which was a former identity of the Joker, I think mostly to spite the Joker, right? Because the Joker killed him.
Yeah. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. So, but he manages to make it work for him. The black leather jacket, the mask or helmet.
I mean, even the Joker makes
arsenal.
Yeah. Even the Joker makes fun of it, saying, I can't remember what he said in the movie, but he makes fun of the reputation of Jason Todd portraying him as the Red Hood now.
Yeah. And it makes me think that, in a way, Jason Todd as the Red Hood could be to Batman what Punisher is to Daredevil.
Yes.
Despite the fact that they're trying to rid the world or the surrounding area that they live in of evil, they have different methods that puts them greatly at odds, and sometimes this makes the Punisher a villain in Daredevil's eyes.
I don't really believe, though, I'm sure a lot of people question this, not just me, that Jason Todd Red Hood is not necessarily a villain. He's definitely an anti-hero, there's no doubt about that. And he really questioned Batman.
They just seem to push it way too much.
They really do, yeah, I agree with that.
I mean, take a few steps back. He can have his own thing going for him. But plus when I heard that there was a Red Hood comic happening, and if you want a really good Red Hood comic, read Red Hood The Lost Days.
Yes.
But Red Hood and the Outlaws, it's a team book. I understand that there are team books with Batman comics. There's Batman and the Outsiders. There's Birds of Prey.
Yeah.
There's Gotham Central. There's Batman Incorporated. But sometimes it's got to be something that makes sense. What reason... Oh man, I'm getting into a rant here. What reason does Jason Todd have to team up with Arsenal and Starfire? I understand that they're characters in the universe, but really, what reason do they have to be a team? None whatsoever.
Well,
anyway,
let's not get into that.
Moving on. Television.
Right.
Okay, Batman has been adapted for television numerous times. One of the most infamous, and probably best in a way, being the Adam West TV show. It's campy, but it's also fun. It's energetic. Adam West just has a lot of energy as Batman.
He does.
He just does. Burt Ward, you gotta love the catchphrases he says. Holy something, Batman. And even Frank Miller had a love for it, or at least wanted to satirize it when he wrote Holy Terror. Right. But it's just... And it's even referenced in further Batman adaptations, like Batman Forever. Holy rusted metal, Batman! and even Val Kilmer was like, huh? I mean, if that was something that was out of character or something, I'm glad they kept that in, because that was funny. You gotta admit that's funny.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
And Chris O'Donnell has to explain the joke, and to quote Mark Hamill, if you have to explain the joke, then there is no joke. But it was still funny. But after
that was a Joker joke, by the way.
Yeah. After Adam West Batman, I can't think of too much Batman live action stuff happening after that. There was that Legends of the Superheroes thing, which had Adam West return as Batman, I think.
I didn't know about that.
And I think there was Huntress in there too.
Yes.
I don't know too much about that one. But then after and then the closest that they had come to doing a live action Batman related show was back in the 90s. They tried to do a Bruce Wayne show called Bruce Wayne, but then that developed into Smallville.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And of course Christopher Nolan's Batman movies happened. And then they did Birds of Prey.
Oh god.
I hear some questionable things about that, so
I've actually seen it. Please don't watch it. You'll regret it.
It's out on DVD though.
I know.
The complete series. I'm not gonna get too much into that because I haven't seen it, so I don't know. I
have. Let me just tell people, don't bother seeing it. It's really, really bad.
I will get into Gotham a bit later though. Not right now.
I think we would.
Not right now, because again, it doesn't do too much good to speculate, but it at the same time doesn't hurt, if that makes sense. So okay, Batman video games. Okay, yeah. Now,
wait. What kind of anime series?
Oh, I can't. Thank you for reminding me. I can't believe I forgot about that.
Exactly.
How could I forget animated? There's been Super Friends. There's been other stuff that happened before the animated series. Batman the Animated Series, one of my favorite shows.
Mine too.
I grew up on it, and I even have a whole VHS collection up in my house, upstairs. But I might get it on DVD later. But I was always excited whenever I got the VHS tapes in the mail, and how when I was a little kid I just watched all of it. Mm-hmm. It was just amazing.
It was.
And the fact that she got integrated into the comics, amazing. And she's had her own comic.
Yeah.
It was a shame that the first series only lasted 33 issues, but it is collected in trade paperback and it's awesome. Mm-hmm. She's got a new comic out right now, but she was the breakout character for Batman the Animated Series. What?
She's also in Suicide Squad, don't forget that.
Yeah. I haven't read Suicide Squad, so...
Pretty good.
Not sure what... Yeah. I mean, I like the new Harley Quinn outfit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if... I mean, it's sort of been adapted into the other mediums, but...
Yes.
Yeah. Now... Probably my favorite Batman animated series is Batman Beyond.
Mine too. By far.
I love the darker tone. I love the cyberpunk setting and storyline. It was a shame that it lasted as long as it did at the time. 3 seasons over from 1999 to 2001.
I thought it lasted longer than that.
Well, it has been looked at. It has been revisited in other shows like Justice League Unlimited, and Static Shock. So there's that. But yeah, Kevin Conroy managed to bring a different kind of range for his character. It's still believable, and he actually managed to make a distinction between Batman Beyond Bruce Wayne and Justice League Bruce Wayne.
Right.
And I like how Batman Beyond's been revisited. Oh yeah. Batman Beyond here. Yeah. Yeah, with foldable wings.
Ah, here it is now.
Yeah. Anyway, the Batman, I understand it was actiony. It was very actiony.
I enjoyed it.
It was fine. I liked it, and I liked Rino Romano as Batman. He was good. It's funny how he went from Spider-Man to Batman next. I mean, it's like, what's he gonna voice next? Superman? The possibilities are endless.
The Punisher now.
Batman the Brave and the Bold. I didn't watch too much of it, but from what I did watch, at first I wasn't sure what to make of it, but I understand that it was its own thing. It was trying to be a light-spirited Batman, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing, it's just something you don't get to see very often. And it did have some dark moments. I mean, I saw on YouTube part of the Chill of the Night episode, which featured both Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill.
Right.
Kevin Conroy as the Phantom Stranger and Mark Hamill as the Spectre. Mm-hmm. And Diedrich Bader, he was great as Batman.
I never really got into Brave and the Bold. I really never watched it all an episode. I didn't really think it was going to be all that.
But it was fun. It was like an animated version of the '60s Batman show.
Okay.
And Diedrich Bader was like he's like bringing a '90s action hero approach to Batman. Different than Schumacher did, if you know what I mean. Right. But yeah, it's like, yeah, it's just like Diedrich Bader would just say, "I'm Batman," or "I'm Batman." No, I can't do the Diedrich Bader voice. Sorry. So, Batman the Brave and the Bold happening. We had our lighthearted Batman show. So what's to happen next now? Beware the Batman. And the thing about Beware the Batman, it did kind of have a rocky start for me. But I mean, it was trying to be really dark, but at the same time it was trying to be too quick. It was trying to mix several elements of other Batman shows into one. It was kind of a mixed bag. But over time, it has gotten better. I mean, people have made some criticism regarding the villains in it being minor villains, but they did manage to have their own edge to them in a way. I mean, Humpty Dumpty, he was like a troubled soul who wanted to fix things, but saw that there was a lot of broken things, so he wasn't sure what to do. He was a confused man. And Anarchy, I thought that was a perfect character to cast in a Batman adaptation. I wasn't sure how they were going to do it. And I haven't seen any of the Anarchy episodes yet of Beware the Batman, if there have been any.
There have been, yes.
Yeah, I haven't seen them yet, though. But from reports I've heard, they try to make him sort of a Machiavellian type thing.
Yeah.
Which I mean, he was a master planner, I guess.
Yes, he is.
But is he definitely a villain, or I mean, do they make him a straight up villain, or do they make him an ambiguous character like he is in the comic?
I personally would make him out to be a villain, straight up.
Yeah, I mean, as a character, for Anarchy as a character as a whole.
Yes.
Okay, I think he's just a person who's trying to make a difference. He has questionable methods of doing it, though.
I personally think it's Anarchy as like Napoleon, because he wants to start a rebellion, and just he wants to be. No, I don't want to say that because too much religion, but he wants to basically be the hero Batman. He looked up to Batman.
He wants to do the things that Batman is not willing or has not thought of doing yet.
Right.
And I hope Beware the Batman continues. At least sooner or later introduce more established villains. You can keep the minor villains. Heck, even Batman the Animated Series had focuses on minor villains. The Clock King. The Clock King wouldn't have become a more prominent character if not for the animated series. And there were even villains made for the series specifically, like Red Claw or Roxy Rocket.
Yeah, that's true.
So, really, is Beware the Batman doing anything different or same from previous Batman adaptations?
I guess not, but I'm still not crazy about Beware the Batman. That's just me.
Yeah.
And now, if people love Beware the Batman, by all means, love it. I'm just one of those guys that don't, because I just feel like it's just, I don't know. I'm not crazy about B-list villains. There are some that I do love, like you mentioned, Red Claw and Rocket. Yeah, you make a validly good point. I didn't think about that before. But I'm still not crazy about where the Batman, because I'm not crazy about B-list villains.
And you're entitled to your opinions, so... But I do hope that Beware the Batman will continue further on than what it already has started with. I mean, it's already back on Toonami, and they're airing all the episodes now. So I hope they manage to continue it out and bring in some more established villains. I understand what they meant when they said they didn't want to do a Joker-centric story at first.
Yeah, I understand that too.
I mean, because, Joker, while he is probably the most popular Batman villain, he's also been the most overused, and not that's a bad thing, but at least gradually put the Joker in there somewhere. Maybe elements or hints.
I would like
if the show gets renewed for a second season, I hope at least the Joker makes an appearance somewhere.
I would like it that they didn't go straight to Joker. Somewhere much further down the line we get Joker, but I would think it'd be an interesting and good adaptation for them to just make him be the Red Hood for a while.
Yeah, have him be the Red Hood first, and then be the Joker. I don't know, however they want to work it in. And whoever they get to voice Joker would probably have some shoes to fill.
Right.
Yeah. And Katana being in the show, that I like that, because Katana has, in a way, been a Batman character. She's been a part of Birds of Prey. She's been a part of she was one of the original Outsiders, which Batman founded. So... it's not a bad thing.
I just wish they would give her armor already.
A different costume. I mean, it's like I can understand the Clark Kent criticism with Katana, because she's already wearing a skin tight black leather jumpsuit outfit. Yeah. The only difference she's making when she becomes Katana is putting a domino mask over it. Really?
Hey, it's just. It's hilarious though, because you're right. It is like that's a Clark Kent thing. Like, hey, that weird guy in glasses. He looks familiar.
Yeah. Okay. Finally, Batman video games. Oh boy. Superman has been regarded probably the most difficult character to make into a video game.
By far. I mean, it's really hard.
If that's the case, then Batman comes to a close second, because
I think Batman is much, much easier to work with than Superman.
Well, yeah, but then you gotta look at how they turn out.
Well,
like say the Batman Forever game. You ever played that?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Side-scrolling. I can understand that, sort of beat 'em up. But then, oh man, the first level, the grappling hook in the ceiling. How do you do that? I'm sorry. I don't mean to get into a rant or rage here, but I don't understand how you do that. And I'm not the first one who's made this criticism. You ever watch the Angry Video Game Nerd when he reviewed Batman games? He had this problem with Batman Forever, the game as well. And how do you, in that first level, when you have to go to the floor directly above you, how do you do that? It's like you have to do some specific button combinations and
that's the problem with, back in the days of the Batman and Superman games. I'll get Superman here in a little bit, but come use more Batman thing.
No Superman. Remember, Batman focused here.
I know, but you gotta get into Superman a little bit too.
I know.
Let me go on.
Sorry.
They made Batman back in the day of the game just a beat up, and that's not Batman. Batman.
Don't forget racing.
Yeah, racing too, unfortunately.
There was that cool racing arcade game we played at Six Flags. Hershey Park. Hershey Park. Sorry.
Look, let me go on now.
Yeah.
Before I interrupted. Batman beat up games, not Batman. That's where Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Arkham Origins comes in. It makes Batman Batman. Batman's a detective. Batman uses his gadgets. Batman's a fighter, sure, but there's much more to Batman than meets the eye. Transformers, no.
There were some Batman games that tried to do this. Like I played a bit of this one Batman game, Batman Vengeance, which is set in the animated universe.
Yeah.
Has Kevin Conroy's Batman, Mark Hamill's Joker, everyone else, and that was fine. It was a little confusing. Wasn't sure what direction to go in sometimes, and wasn't sure how to get through some levels. It's like playing a Batman version of X2 Wolverine's Revenge.
Yeah, but my point is, Batman is a much easier character to work with because Superman Superman's a god. You can't really give him a weakness unless you have every enemy use a kryptonite gun or every enemy use magic. With the imitation of Injustice, Gods Among Us, it's a fighting game. There are things you can do with fighting game because it's real easy to attack with that. Whereas Superman by himself, there's really not much you can do because he can't die. He's like I said, he's a god. He's basically immortal. Where Batman is a simple mortal man using gadgets and stuff. He's a detective and he's a fighter, and he's much easier to work with.
It's kind of like with Prince of Persia. You got an ordinary man who's been bestowed with amazing sword fighting abilities, and he has a powerful weapon in the other hand.
Right.
So it's kind of like with Batman, but he has more tech know-how and other skills.
And I won't get into it, but there are some notable mentions of Batman Superman games, like Superman 64. Yeah, let's not get into that. And thank God Batman never did something like that.
A Batman 64.
Yeah, exactly.
But the Arkham games really, they're not only some of the best. They're not only probably the best Batman games, but probably some of the best and probably not just some of the best licensed games, but probably some of the best games. Period.
But without a doubt, the best superhero games ever made.
Yeah. Arkham Asylum, it was like just the tip of the iceberg in comparison to the other games. Because once in Arkham City, it opened up a whole new world.
I don't think, I'm hoping that Arkham Knight can beat Arkham City, because I think Arkham City it gave everything that we want in a Batman game. It just blew the ballpark for everything a superhero game should have been.
And Arkham Origins, I like Arkham Origins. There are people who, there have been some people who hate it, and that's fine. They're entitled to their opinion. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing. the game was created to keep fans satisfied or distracted while Rocksteady worked on the next Arkham game.
It may have been a different game company, but I truly believe they did a fantastic good job.
Yeah, they did fine. There was some framing issues, some sound issues.
Yeah.
But aside from that, does that make it really a bad game? There have been worse licensed games or original games that came out around 2013 and times before and after it. I mean, Ride to Hell.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But Batman Arkham Origins, it was fine. It was fine the way it was. Yeah, it wasn't so, see, the thing of it was, it's not so much an origin story for Batman. This is part of the reason why I didn't talk about Batman Arkham Origins when I did Batman Origin Stories, is that it's not so much an origin story for Batman as it is talking about the early years of Batman, because as so far as the Arkhamverse is concerned, in Batman Arkham Origins, he's been Batman for some time now. Yes. And it's more or less just really the first chapter in the Arkhamverse. That's it. And it's its own universe. It's its own. I mean, there have been comments that people say like, "Oh, it's really just based on It's really based on the animated series canon. It sucks." I mean,
when I play Arkham Origins, I get the feeling that it's strongly based on Legends of the Dark Knight
and Year One.
And Year One, yeah.
And bits of Long Halloween.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, but it was a fun playthrough, and plus, you're playing as a young Batman. If there are some blunders that whether the character makes in-game or in cinematic, well, he's a young Batman. He's not exactly the hard-edged Dark Knight overlord that he is in Asylum and City.
Yeah, he's just Batman starting off. He's not really, what's the word I'm looking for? Not really
a master?
Yeah, let's go with that. Master yet. He doesn't really care much for criminals. He fights more aggressive, like, I'm going to break your bones and make sure you never do crime again.
Sometimes they make it a bit too obvious. But again, he's a young Batman, so they got to give him some type of notion that he's an inexperienced crime fighter.
Yes.
Not an idiot, mind you, but not quite experienced either.
And I think that even though the original voice actors for the Arkham games were not in here,
Mark Hamill said that the City was going to be his last.
Right.
Last. Right.
But Troy Baker being the Joker. I mean, if you didn't know that Mark Hamill left and then Troy Baker took in, you would have thought he was the same guy. I really thought he was spot on with the Joker.
He also, I think he also voiced Batman in a Lego Batman thing and Two-Face too.
I think I think so. I never played the Lego Batman game.
I was surprised that there wasn't a Harvey Dent pre-Two-Face in Origins. You know?
Yeah.
There was James Gordon in Arkham Origins and Harvey Bullock, voiced by Robert Costanzo, and he was a lot of laughs. But yeah. So, and I understand that Arkham Knight's getting delayed, and that's where we come up with the next stage of Batman adaptations. Absolutely. There's the Batman Superman Dawn of Justice, and I'm looking forward to that.
We all are.
And the thing of it is, we've already seen Batman. I mean, we've seen how in animation, it's one thing to do it in animation, how it shows that Batman is a small part, in a way, of something bigger. It's going to be amazing how we'll see that finally in live action.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm looking forward to it. I find the title a bit questionable.
I do too. Okay, I personally think that maybe people feel the same way. That should have been called World's Finest because that's what Batman is.
And how much of a versus movie is it going to be anyway?
I don't know. I don't even know why it's versus. I don't. If you had a whole movie with Batman vs. Superman, I'm not going to try and get into around here, but if you had a whole movie based on Batman vs. Superman, it's like, that's not really a movie, guys. It's just basically a battle movie.
Yeah. So, okay, the upcoming TV show Gotham now.
Yes.
They have been trying to do another live-action Batman show for a long, long time.
Yeah. I personally have high hopes for the show. I think it's going to be But happened.
They once tried to do an adaptation of the Gotham Central comic.
Mm-hmm.
And in a way, Gotham does take elements from Gotham Central in a way, or at least a theme or something.
Right.
And the thing of it is, Gotham, while it does feature a young Bruce Wayne, he does not yet become Batman. This instead focuses on James Gordon, and he more than deserves his own thing.
Mm-hmm.
Comic, even a video game, anything that James Gordon could have of his own, he deserves.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that the focus for however long Gotham will be on a young James Gordon. I'm glad about that. The only thing is, I think the actor who plays James Gordon in the show, Benjamin McKenzie, I believe his name is, right?
Yes.
He actually voiced Batman in Batman Year One,
I know,
the movie.
yeah.
That's a huge leap.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm not sure whether to call that a step up or the next stage or whatever, but
I think it's more the next stage.
I mean, I'm not going to get too much into this next bit about the show that's going to be on Fox, because they have a history with some of the shows that they do, like
that's why I'm a little bit worried myself.
Firefly. But I'm sure that Gotham is going to be good.
I think so. I think it's going to stay on for a very long time.
I understand that it's going to be standalone from the rest of whatever DC Cinematic Universe that's going to be done here.
Yeah.
Because, hey, Batman's been able to stand on his own before, so why not?
Yeah.
So, yeah. And Harvey Bullock is going to be in it. And I like Harvey Bullock.
I do too.
And the actor they cast him for, I think he's going to have an edge for Harvey Bullock that we've seen or may not have seen before.
I think the question is, though, and I'm hoping for this, is he going to be like the animated Harvey Bullock. Harvey Bullock. That's what I hope.
Well, it's sort of like a mix between Earth 1 and animated and comic version of Harvey Bullock.
Yeah.
He's seemingly fit, but at the same time, kind of not.
Yeah.
Which is good in a way. What other future upcoming... Oh yeah, Arkham Knight.
Yeah.
I understand the delay with Arkham Knight because they want to make sure this is perfect. They want to make sure that this is like the best game that they can come out with, and they want to end it on a high note.
Right.
Or at least something that they'll feel satisfied with, much like with Christopher Nolan in The Dark Knight Rises.
I personally think that it's a little bit weird that Scarecrow is the main battalion. We don't know that, maybe.
There is a new villain or character being created called the Arkham Knight.
Arkham Knight, yeah.
So he's like a militarized version of Batman.
Yeah.
So, and I like the fact that Scarecrow, aside from the Joker, Scarecrow is one of my favorite villains.
He is mine too. I just think it's... I
kind of hate how he was downplayed a bit in the Nolan sequels, which is understandable because the main focus is Joker or Bane or someone else.
Yeah.
But I wish he could have been more of a force to be reckoned with in the further sequels down the line. I liked him in Batman Begins.
Yeah,
I like that.
I do too.
And I like that he's a guy who can spread fear wherever he wants because he has the know-how of how to make his fear gas.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, it's like, well, the Joker, he's trying to spread his toxic gas throughout Gotham that could kill people or make people laugh endlessly.
Yeah.
Scarecrow's fear gas, in a way, is either worse or just as bad as Joker's toxic gas, in the sense that, well, you've got people running around in fear and destroying things. They're destroying themselves rather than just simply dying or laughing to death. Yeah. So... Well, and we're not sure if Scarecrow's going to be the main villain because we thought that Black Mask was going to be the main villain for Arkham Origins, but then instead it was revealed to be the Joker. This was a criticism that was said by people that Joker was the main villain again in Arkham Origins. There were early statements that said that it was going to be about Batman's first encounter with the Joker in the Arkhamverse. So, all I can say is try to pay attention.
Exactly.
I'm not trying to put anyone down, but try to keep your ears to the ground on this stuff.
This is gonna sound really out there.
Yeah.
But this is my crazy theory that maybe the Arkham Knight actually is the Joker.
A zombified Joker, maybe, or a cyber
Joker clone. Maybe it's just Joker's head. I don't know. It sounds crazy and out there, I know, but it's just like, what if?
Yeah, who knows? Well, that's all the stuff we can talk about Batman adaptations, and I hope you hope you enjoyed it at least. I mean, probably more than an hour's worth of talking.
Yeah, so. Exactly. So we're sorry for that. Thank you for watching the whole video. We really appreciate you guys.
Yeah. So stay tuned for next time.
Also, there's a quick shout out for anyone going to San Diego Comic-Con for the 75th anniversary of Batman. Have fun. We look forward to more years of Batman, and anything you want to add, Phil?
All I could say is stay tuned for sort of same bat time, sort of same bat place, because we keep changing angles and locations and the environment here.
Unfortunately, yes.
But yeah. All right. Talk to you later.